There's something about smelling masculine. Gunpowder and cigars, gasoline and barbecue, the smell of wood and fire, steel and blood. It's that pulsing testosterone and masculinity that causes you to grow a couple extra hairs on your chest. Today we're going to be taking a look at a fragrance that epitomizes masculinity. And in so, we will be revisiting a house that we took a look at previously. This is Afnan's Supremacy Incense. So let's start off with the presentation. The box is a bit different. If you've seen my previous review, and I don't recommend that you watch it, Supremacy and Oud came in a more detailed or overdone presentation. It still felt really rather cheap and kind of out of place in a dupe fragrance. But the thought was what mattered most in that case. However, I am of the mindset that if you can reduce your expenses in the presentation and invest it in the fragrance, I am all for that. And it appears that has been what they've done here. So you got the box, it has a subtle gradient all along the box, and the logo and different design in it is raised on the front and sides of the fragrance. It has silver lettering where appropriate, and it lets you know it is an eau de parfum fragrance. Of course, it has all the ingredients on the back, and you flip it down below and you get even more details. On the side, you have the holograph to make sure it is an authentic dupe. Of course, we are here for the fragrance, so let's open her up. As you open up, nothing too fancy. You have a couple folds before you reveal the fragrance. If you're familiar with Afnan fragrance, specifically their Supremacy line, this bottle falls right in line. However, I feel it is still tasteful in terms of how they do it. It has a subtle gradient. It shifts between bright, vibrant silver into this kind of deep marine blue. Of course, you still have the embellishments on the front, and you still have that cap that, while you can pick it up from, I wouldn't necessarily trust it. All in all, their presentation is still a classy one. It definitely has a heft, a substance to it. All right, so enough about the looks. Let's get into the substance of the fragrance. Let's give it a sniff, shall we? No, you can wait. So when I first smelled this fragrance, it hit me a type of way. I was super intrigued and drawn into its depths. It is this dark void of just manliness. You feel as if you smelled the fragrance before, while knowing that you had never smelled anything quite like it. It is this embodiment, this image that invites you to step into it. Whenever I first smelled it, like most people that smell this or it's inspired by fragrance, homage, interlude moon, it can be a little bit polarizing. As I said, there's something so familiar but yet so distinct and so strong, and just it is a presence to be contended with. You feel intimidated or off-put by it, wondering how you could wear this. Off the top, you definitely get that oregano-ness, and it's this purple green and mamma mia-ness to it. But as much as you want to like poke and prod about the oregano in there, it has this confidence right behind it. It's almost there to set you off course. It has this like strong backbone that just this affront of leather, of incense, of oud, just pummeling you. All right, so in terms of its longevity and projectivity, you're gonna have no issue with this. This thing is one level below nuclear bomb. It definitely is a beast mode fragrance. Lasts on my skin a full 8 hours, no problem plus. And in terms of how well it projects, I've had people, a room next to me, ask, what is that smell? In terms of how it develops over the course of those hours, for the first hour and a half is probably the most exciting, where you have more of that greener, youthful greenness to the fragrance before it starts to settle down and compress. When it's done, you are left with this leathery, oudy, smoky incense smell that is really quite pleasant, and also does happen to keep some of that green trait from the beginning, although it is not as prominent. So who do I think this fragrance is for? It is an uber masculine fragrance. However, it is so complex and nuanced that I feel as if anybody with the confidence to wear it can wear it, whether male or female. Just know that it has those uber masculine vibes to it. Now, some may say it is not a safe blind buy, and I may agree with that. If you are the type of person that likes to spend money on things that you are guaranteed to love, then I could not recommend this fragrance in good conscience. However, for most people, whenever they buy scents, they are looking to either expand their palette, try something new, look for a good value, and all those things I find represented here. If you're not to the point where every scent has to matter, then I think this has to be almost a guaranteed buy. Now, this fragrance is a clone of a fragrance, Amouage's Interlude Man. While I have yet to get my nose on the original fragrance, I can kind of envision what it would smell like. And to kind of give my critiques on this fragrance, it does settle down and compress later in it. A lot of the notes are super close together, none of them feeling too artificial, but there's a sense that there could be more. All the notes in here are about the complexity, about the texture, about the sense of space, and you feel that waft away, or maybe not as detailed as you may hope. With that being said, it is 90 to 95% there. It is that last little bit that would complete the fragrance. So with that being said, recommend that you get your nose on it. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.